Hey everyone, you might notice that this video doesn't have my normal intro. You are currently watching the speed draw of a commission that I've been working on for the past month or so, and the reason for this is because, well, I just got some news yesterday that kind of really changed my headspace, and I really want to be consistent with uploading videos. I missed a week because I was out of town. I was visiting my brother in Oklahoma, and now I'm back. And yeah, I just really didn't feel comfortable missing another week. So I've sort of repurposed this commission, and I did get permission from the client to use it in a video. To kind of talk about my headspace and where I'm at and what's going on. And also, maybe, I don't know, talk about what's happening on screen. Look at how great I am at drawing hair. Has anyone else noticed that drawing short hair, especially for boys, is harder than drawing long hair for girls? That's just my hot take, my personal opinion. I never really know what to do with it, especially with, like, the shape language. But that's neither here nor there. So the reason why I'm in a different sort of headspace than normal is because I just found out that my partner and I are essentially not being evicted per se. We are being kicked out of our current room where we are living because the landlord needs to rent out the entire house instead of individual rooms. So, like, even the girl who lives in the room in the basement, she's also having to move out because the whole place is just going to be rented to one family for a very large price. And that is affecting me for obvious reasons, because I sort of made a 3-year plan for what I was doing, how I was doing it, to really track my channel growth. But now that whole timeline is being thrown out and escalated because, we had pretty good rent control, so I could account with, like, how much money is being allotted towards that. But now that my partner and I have to potentially move, well, not potentially, we're moving somewhere else, and most likely the rent is going to be higher. So just by nature of that, that's a lot of stress. And I have to make sure the channel grows to the point where I can keep making videos and pursuing this. Otherwise, I'm going to have to change careers, which is, anyone who works in the arts, this is something we all know is a possibility, but it just crept up on us much faster than I anticipated. And I think, it's easy to be pessimistic about this, right? I could be down in the dumps, but I'm choosing to be optimistic because, for one, this kind of just happened in Drawfee, and whenever I see something happen to, a person who is, I know, a real person, it just helps me feeling like I will be okay. I think that's why representation is so important to some degree. But yeah, it was a little different, but Julia and Jacob, I think their whole apartment was just sold wholesale, so they had to find a new place to live, which is why the videos are now recorded at Karina's instead of at their place. And yeah, so this is just something that happens, and, seeing that, I already went through sort of the emotions of like, wow, that would really suck if that was me. What would I do in that scenario? So now that it's happened, it's kind of great that, I feel bad for Jacob and Julia for having to go through that stress, but it definitely helped me out for being like, okay, I know that there is a version of reality where I come out of this and I am still okay. Because Jacob and Julia are okay, so I'm gonna be okay. They found another place to live. They're not on the streets. They didn't have to move back in with their parents. They didn't have to say goodbye to their friend group. They are still doing what they love. They made it work, so I can make it work. I think that's very important to have hope, I'm so afraid that I'm gonna lose this beautiful community of people here in Atlanta that I've made. All of my gay friends were all so queer. It's very stereotypical. Everybody is a lesbian and trans. I'm the only Achillean person in the bunch. But anyway, yeah, I love my friends, and, Julia and Jacob are okay, so I'm gonna be okay. And that little bit of hope, oh boy, I can ride that forever. And it's kind of funny because the commission that I'm currently working on that you're seeing kind of ties into this too, in the way that I was commissioned to draw these Dungeons & Dragons characters from the beginning of their campaign to where they are now at the ending of the campaign and how they've changed over time. You might recognize the figure on the right, who's the werebear from my D&D video where I draw my Patreon members' characters. Yeah, it was another member in his party reached out and asked to do this, and I need money, so of course. It's really great to sort of think about, oh, this is who they were at the beginning of the campaign when they're both a level 3 cleric and a level 3 barbarian, and the cleric has long hair and is insecure, and I'm going to make his leathers sort of these, dingy browns because that's all he can afford. And he's just very insecure about himself and his curse of having stars on his arms. And the werebear is a little younger, but still, not as swole. Like, this is the older version where his muscles have really developed after, slaughtering countless monsters, I'm sure. But he also has more scars. Like, I think that's also important. He has a bunch of scars on his arms that from getting, struck by lightning and other various things. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say other than it was just very serendipitous working on this commission, finishing it around this time. And about, I don't know what level I am currently in life, but I feel like I'm not a level 3, but, maybe I am, because levels 1 and 2 are really tough, but you got to go through them anyway. And when I'm a level 15, I'll look back on now and be like, hey, kid, you're going to be all right. You're going to be okay. And what you're doing now is important, and it'll get you where you need to go. So that's where I'm at. My timeline for a lot of things have just escalated. I have to spend more time kind of finding a place to live. We still want to live in Atlanta because we don't want to go live any place homophobic. My parents are out of the question because although we have a cordial relationship, they do have some homophobic tendencies. So, yeah, that's not really in the question. But we have a couple of places in Atlanta that we're looking at and currently talking to people and comparing prices. I have to think of it like a D&D game, like an adventure. I'm just one nat 20 away from getting this problem solved and feeling so happy and proud that I got it solved. And to get that nat 20, that's only 5%. So you have to go up to bat a lot. You have to make a lot of phone calls, and you got to roll a couple nat 1s, but eventually you'll get that nat 20. So that's how I'm choosing to have my outlook. Yeah, who has time for pessimism? The world is ending, so I don't. Yeah. Oh, I felt like I had another point that I wanted to talk about too, but it has escaped me. Watching this beautiful time-lapsed image sort of go before my eyes. I think I'll talk a little bit now about what I've been working on, which is, besides my normal channel videos, I have been working on this animation. And this, as I think I've stated before, I'm not sure if it was in the Candyland video or what, but I talked about how I want to make more animations because, one, I've just always wanted to do that. It's a big dream of mine, but two, those tend to do better on YouTube. And I had a 3-year plan for getting, animations done, which has now become a 2-month plan. So that's a lot of stress. But I think with all of that happiness and optimism that I was talking about earlier, where I'm at now is I am both going to hold two different truths. On one hand, I'm going to take having to potentially move and have higher rent and have to make more money as a means of all right, you really have to buckle down, have a lot of self-discipline, and get this animation done at a faster timeline. With the same time, on the other hand, holding I will be radically kind to myself this entire process. I will not, this might be crunch, but I will not be self-cruel or self-flagellating to myself in this process. I will be radically kind to myself. I will not judge myself for my shortcomings. And I believe that I can hold both of those things in my hands to get YouTube videos out like this one, which I was not anticipating needed to be done today. I was going to be in a completely different headspace talking about process, and it's okay, you're not in that headspace, you're not able to talk about that. let's make a video with the headspace you are in. And that's what I'm doing. So it's going to be the same for my animation, you know, whatever it is, that's what it is. I've only made one other animation before, a short that I did in my small stint in college before I got, I left college for also financial reasons. But yeah, I am excited. I think that I can hold both these truths in my heart to create this thing that I'm proud of for the animation. And I just have to go through all the steps. You know, you have to do the thumbnailing, you got to do the storyboarding, you got to do the animatic, you got to do the animation, you got to do the whole thing. And it's okay if it's scrungly. It's okay if it's not perfect, because it's only my second time doing it. It can be difficult transitioning from my still illustrations to the animation. I think I've said this before on the channel, but maybe I've just said it to friends. It's a difficult transition because I'm going from a skill set that I know I can create a finished product that is so polished, so good, that I can be so proud of. And it's about readjusting my expectations for, yes, you can draw. You know you have the skill. But just because your drawings and the medium has changed so much, it can be scrunglier. It can even be bad. Like, I think bad animations are still just as fun and interesting and cool as, you know, really mediocre animations. There's not a big difference between bad and mediocre when it comes to them, but they can be very entertaining. So I just have to let myself be bad, let myself be mediocre, because that's, you know, as Jake the dog once said, sucking at something's the first step of being kind of good at something. So yeah, I wanna get to that point. Now I'm just really doing the background and getting all the shading done. I love that they met at a cafe. Like, when the client was like, oh, they met at a medieval cafe in the D&D setting, I was like, how wonderful that this wasn't a tavern, but a cute little medieval coffee shop. So it was fun kind of figuring out how to make a cafe, but have it still feel D&D and like kind of ahistorical, but still in the past, and not just a modern cafe. So that was really fun to do. This is the finished illustration. I didn't put all 3 of the images up just because, you know, that's not the point of this video. And I want to thank everybody for listening to me talk. Tell me down below in the comments if you feel like sharing just where you're at. How are you doing in life? And I'll try to spread some of the love that y'all keep giving to me with all of your kindness over these weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks back to you. I hope you're doing well. I hope whatever life's throwing at you is great. If you want to support the channel, it's like $4 a month to have your name in the end credits. And you're about to see all those names. This is an extra special thank you to all of them, because if it was not for this list of names that is said at the end of every video, I would not be in this position. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, all of you. You make this possible. Yeah, so it's time for the end credits. Here they are now. Special thanks to Anna Sophia Boyd, Axelius the Great, Bodhi, Blue Uwu, Kay Clark, Christopher, Dabadudu, Dax Quinn, Aaron Martin, Emoe, Gay Jarris, Jay Johar, JD Boy 2000, Johan, Kitsune Chibiko, Lucky Paradox, Melon, Mild Mothman, Mistake, Native Runner, Orion Amastasia, Pinecone, Potion Cellar Door, Rin, Scorching Ray, Sir Camelot, Smalls the Sax Jammer, Shernanigans, Tad the Turtle, Tarthalinor, The Real Michael, Thumper Daytime, Thony, Tortilla Chips, Tuesdays Anyways, Tundra Katie Bean, and Tuppence Pies. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Nathan, and I'll upload a new video real soon. Bye!